All right, a long weekend episode of the Metal Lab, folks. It's low turnout for myself. It's just myself, Jason, and Mike joining us today.
Hello.
And of course, I have to remind you guys that the show is partially brought to you by hcrealms.com. Click the shop button, purchase some product down there, and use the coupon code MARRIED to get yourself 10% off of your purchase and help support our channel. HC Realms, of course, is the ultimate source of team building as you use the unit section. A lot of players use the unit section to build their teams prior to tournaments and when they're planning things out, especially if you check the screen shares on our Facebook page when I talk about the teams or when I show off the teams that myself and the other crew bring up. As well, if you want to support us in another way, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. We managed to hit our lowest milestone last month, and we hope to keep it up with a new editing software as soon as the money comes in from that. So we're looking forward to better quality videos from the Married with Clicks crew going forward. Now, that said, what do we have this week? We have previews, we have Robin, and we have what me and Mike have done with our week so far as playing the game. So, Facebook. I'm so unprofessional with my Facebook open and whatnot.
You're terrible. You're a terrible person.
I'm the worst. That said, all right. So let's talk previews. So we will no longer look at my face. One last look at Mike, but before he goes very small. And then I will start the screen share with the oldest preview that we got. Would have been last Wednesday in the Golden Craw. All right. So we can actually spend a little bit more time.
That's terrible, man.
Great deal to talk about.
That was really bad.
What?
The Golden
I didn't even realize I had done it. I'm sorry.
That was so bad.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
I apologize to anybody I may have offended. That was accident.
I'm offended.
Because that was anyway. Golden Claw has the Agents of Atlas, Hydra, Martial Artist, and Mystical keywords. He's got a trait, the psychic energies of Mind Slaves. When Mind Claw hits an opposing character, place a Mind Slave token on that character's card. Characters with one or more Mind Slave tokens modify their combat values by -1 when targeting Golden Claw with an attack. Remove one of his Mind Slave tokens from an opponent's card to modify Golden Claw's combat values by +1 until your next turn. He's got Stealth, which he has on his first click and his last 3 clicks. He's got special movement power. It gives him Mind Control. When he uses Mind Control, his line of fire isn't blocked when targeting an opposing character with a Mind Slave token. So that's actually really cool. He's got a miasma of powers, including Psychic Blast, Outwit, Impervious on different clicks, some toughness in the middle of the dial, late dial regeneration. He's got a special damage power, which he gets on clicks 2, 4, and 5. He can use probability control and shape change. When he uses shape change, he succeeds on a result of 4, 5, or 6 if targeted by a non-adjacent character. And he has some outwit and regular probability control throughout the dial. So, Mike, what do you think of this character?
He isn't bad. I think he's a little bit expensive for what he does, but maybe I'm not seeing it yet. Let's see. I mean, the combat value thing is pretty awesome when you actually do remove the Mind Slave tokens. So he has his own modifiers. I do like that probability control and shape change special with the 3 or 4 through 6 if non-adjacent, so ranged. Makes him pretty tough to take down. And I like the fact that he has 3 clicks of regeneration. So he can actually regenerate fairly easily. He'll have a lot of opportunity to do so. I mean, he's 8 clicks long. 8 clicks, 135 points. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, closer inspection. You know, I mean, in terms of sealed, thumbs up. Constructed, I'd have to work at it. You know, I'd have to really try and figure it out. I mean, it looks like a figure that you might be able to find a loophole for. I mean, if you throw Black Talon in there, you know, obviously, then you can mind control him, and he can mind control. He can use the Mind Slave tokens, etc. I love anything that means you don't need line of sight to be able to use a power. So Mind Slave tokens, enabling him to use mind control. It's pretty awesome. in that way. You?
As far as the character himself, I see him as a snowballer. If he can start moving, he will grow and grow and grow and become a.
Well, yeah, he has a slow ramp up for sure.
Yeah, but like at the initial, at first look, he doesn't seem like he can really pull it off. But I believe he'll be a prime candidate for a green power battery team. First of all, to get over that issue of not being indomitable. Also, to get over the issue that he is somewhat subject to outwit if somebody can cross that whole threshold of his stealth on the first click. His mind control, I would like it a little bit more if he didn't run the risk of taking the damage on higher point figures.
Yeah.
But at a 7 range with 2 targets, you can mind control quite a bit with this guy, and once you start, not having to draw a line of fire to guys and whatnot, you can really put him in a protected position a lot more than, once it really starts going. I think this is going to be one of those characters, at first glance, not so much, but he's going to catch you off guard in a tournament where you weren't ready for him, and he may surprise you.
I think that, looking at the placement of the mind control, the special movement power versus the regeneration, I think it's made for that. He can take the damage and then he'll come back anyway.
Right.
It's not anything that he'll suffer from for too long anyway. But if he gets down to his 5th click on his own, then all it takes is 1 good hit.
Yeah. But that good hit's got to get through a 4, 5, or 6 shape change.
That's true. 4, 5, or 6 shape change plus the reducer of toughness, and then 3 clicks, right? So you got to be doing 5 damage.
Yep.
Most of the time.
So overall, he's a character. He's going to be a think piece, I think, where people either build around him to make him work, or just we watch him collect dust in the kit.
I think there's more pieces. There's a lot of pieces that do a lot more for 135.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is Baron Straka. He's got the Hydra and Ruler keywords, so he's kind of limited in the teams for as far as using theme teams, or getting that theme bonus rather. Hydra's reach is worldwide. Now here's a power that I think struck us both as amazing. When Baron Structure takes damage from an attack and the action's resolved, deal 1 penetrating damage to the attacker and each opposing character within 2 squares of the attacker.
Yeah.
Hit me, I dare you. Each time another friendly character with the Hydra keyword is KO'd by an opposing character, modify the combat values of all friendly characters with the Hydra keyword by +1 until the end of your next turn. And then he's got a pretty solidly colorful dial. We do have a couple powers here. He's got a white attack power. Baron Strucker can use Blades, Claws, and Fangs and exploit. Combination to have. I mean, exploit weakness and the chance of a 1 to 6 on damage without having to worry about reducers is okay.
Yeah, it's the Charge Blades exploit right there.
Yeah. Because where he gets this is in the middle 3 clicks, where he's also got combat reflexes, so retaliation is a little tricky as well. And he combines that with leaderships, and there's a lot of Hydra guys that are low points, not necessarily leaders of Hydra, but and then he's got a special power in his first 2 clicks that comes with leadership and perplex. Like a combination. So he seems to start out very, don't hit me, please don't hit me. Nobody's going to hit me because of this unless you have precision strike. But then, of course, once again, we have some late dial regeneration, which seems to be a common theme around a lot of guys with that Hydra. So what are your initial thoughts on this one, Mike?
I think he's really good. I don't mind that it's 120 points. The Hydra team ability is awesome, and he's poised to be a high-cost support character right in the beginning. He gets you going, with his leadership. He's got the perplex. He also has those 2 traits which help out, if somebody does target him, because he is a pretty juicy target with that Flaming Fist. I think that he is a thumbs up for both aspects of the game for me. I could definitely build something surrounding him. He's indomitable on top of it all, so you can keep going. Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. The 2-bolt energy explosion with 6 range, great, fantastic. Yeah, I just think he's very, very good. What do you think?
Yeah, myself, I do like him for the idea of a mobile tank team of multiple Hydra guys. Surround him with the small guys, assuming that your opponent isn't packing a great deal of precision strike. Now, of course, precision strike stops those first 2 clicks, so maybe it's okay to put him in a little bit of danger, get that retaliation off, and then bring it, if you will. I like having stealth and regeneration at times, specifically because when you need it, or if you get hit and you get put on regeneration, and your opponent doesn't have that ignoring, hindering coming at you. I do like that combination of powers. So you do have a couple turns to get back to life with the regeneration.
Yeah,
and I do like the idea of having my Hydra keyword characters KO'd and making all my other guys bigger. Because it's like, what is it? It's each time another friendly character with the Hydra keyword is KO'd by an opposing character, modify the combat values of all friendly characters with the Hydra keyword by +1 until the end of your turn. So sending suicide missions with small Hydra guys, is just a scary thought.
Yeah.
Watching that kind of explode in your face could be quite fun to happen. So I'm gonna give him a thumbs up on both because I'm being the master of the swarm, if you will, as we all kind of point out to me. I will build this team that has this guy surrounded by a ton of Hydra soldiers who will attack with impunity.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think he's fantastic.
And hopefully I'll pull that Hydra pack that he's bound to come in sealed and watch as I swarm that pack around people. So next up we had a triple bill from this long weekend from the Fast Forces set. So starting off with Nick Fury Jr. He's got shield, soldier, and spy keywords. Now he's the only one that doesn't have the cool key or trait with probability control. Or is it outwit? I can't remember. It's going to be on any other guys. When Nick Fury Jr. is adjacent to a friendly character named Agent Coulson, they both modify their attack values by +1 if not already modified by this effect, which already comes with some decent dials. And I guarantee you'll have an Agent Coulson because he comes in the same package. He's got a colorful dial with a starting special damage power on his first 3 clicks. Figure out what you're doing, how you're doing that, and stop it. When Nick Fury Jr. damages an opposing character and actions resolve, choose a power or team ability that character can use. That character can't use that power or team ability until your next turn. So what do you think of this one?
That's like micro version of the orange battery there on the end. Very good, actually. For the point value, I think he's actually incredible. 75 and 50 points, both are very good. Charge blades with that special white power, or I shouldn't say white power, special power on the damage there. That's one of the traps we fall into in this game. I think it's fantastic. But then having him at 75 points for the extra 2 clicks with range, it's really good. Especially the top click, we got 11 attack for 75 points. That's very good. And it's not unheard of. In terms of starter, I think that he's a little bit better than many starter figures that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I like this so far. I like a lot of this whole Fast Forces. At first, I was a little sketchy about some of the characters, but there's a lot of them are starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
The fact that this guy is 75 and indomitable
that's amazing.
Is amazing. The fact that he comes in a pack of guys that comes with the shield team ability already is amazing. When you consider that 6 range can very easily become 9 range with a 6 damage and an 11 attack on that running shot, or not necessarily on the running shot, but on a standing shot.
Yeah,
he doesn't need the sniper rifle per se, and then with a sniper rifle, it's 13 range.
Yeah.
So this guy can, with enough work, or with the Fast Forces on its own, is a deadly force to be reckoned with. So yeah, while we won't see him in sealed, he's got his place in constructed for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that takes us to the next character in the Fast Forces, in Sky. Now this looks like it's not the Sky that, spoiler alerts, that we see at the end of the 3rd season of S.H.I.E.L.D. Are we on the 3rd season? We just finished the 3rd season, right?
I haven't even watched it myself.
All right. Anyway, so, and this seems to be more based on the comic book. I don't know if they've retconned it to match this show yet. Anyway, so she's got the field team backup ability while Sky is attacking a single character. If another friendly character with this trait has line of fire to the target, Sky can use probability control. She has stealth. A special attack power gives her range combat expert and has a range value of 7. She has that on her first 2 clicks. And then she's got a special damage power she has on her last 4 clicks. So clicks 3, 4, 5, and 6. Opposing characters in line of fire must be given a power action to use Outwit or Perplex. So she goes from a range attacker on the first 2 clicks with range combat expert at only 50 points to a character with that stops your Outwits or Perplexes. The energy shield off the top is pretty cool, I think. I can see myself using this character, squeezing it into like a spy team or a shield team. I mean, there's tons of characters at this point level. So, what do you think, Mike?
I think it's great for 50 points. Throw on the shield team ability on there. It's great. For 50 points, having a 12 attack, I think that's pretty amazing. Or 11 attack, 3 damage, or 10 attack, 4 damage, etc. Whatever combination that you want to use it as. Range combat expert has a range value of 7. The shutdown aspect of it, once again, great aspect of this game. 50 points, total utility. Just keep her there. I think it's interesting how people have to be like her friends have to be watching in order for her to have probability control.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I think the first month we saw Coulson, Simmons, and May had all that.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Or sorry, was that Fitz? That was Fitz? All right. It was
Fitz, yeah.
That's right. Because this week we have Simmons.
Right.
Simmons has his field team backup. While Simmons is attacking a single character, if another friendly character with this trait has line of fire to the target, Simmons can use probability control.
Yeah.
Shield and Scientist, 50 points to put her on the board. She has a shield team ability, 4 range, and she's got special power, 4-click dial, special power on the first 3 clicks. Simmons can use Outwit, give Simmons a power action, and a friendly character with a line of fire that shares a keyword can use Outwit until your next turn. She got sidestep to go with that, so she can slowly move up the board to give other characters Outwit while she's within line of fire of them. Because it's not within range in line of fire; it's within line of fire, which is important.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this character?
Ion. Once again, very good. I'm noticing, though, overall that the starter figures, the fast forces, are always actually pretty solid. Almost always pretty solid. We end up with some really good meta that comes out of, at least one figure, it seems like, comes out of each and every fast forces pack lately. Like my favorite, of course, Atomica, a little while ago. Mm-hmm. That let's save some money on a tiny figure by not putting it on the dial. Yeah, that figure is fantastic. Let's see. Yeah, Ion, because you can modify both stats on her, plus you would benefit from a reducer on top of her already 18 defense from range. So 19 defense from range, 50 points. The granting someone else Outwit piece is great. So she can use Outwit, they can use Outwit. You're outwitting 2 powers, essentially shutting down your opponents. Pair her with the last preview that we saw, and you've got a heck of a lot of shutdown happening.
Yep, absolutely. And what I like about this character as well is the Scientist keyword doesn't limit her to just a shield team ability, or shield team, rather. Yeah. And Scientist, I think, is becoming the next animal. There are a lot of really good scientists in the game right now. And
I thought Robot was the next animal.
Well, Robot's there, but there's also a lot of scientist robots.
Sure, there are a lot of scientist robots.
One of which I actually, I believe the one I'm thinking of, I pulled this weekend, and I'll talk about that shortly. But so far, what are you thinking of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from what we've seen so far, Mike?
I like it. I think it's a lot more powerful than the Age of Ultron set, actually, outside of the chases and a couple of choice figures.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's a great set overall so far.
I'm personally looking forward to whatever they throw in for the chase theme as well, because we've seen nothing of it, and the most hints I've heard about it has been a hint that somebody who's been right before has hinted that it could be vehicles that are coming up.
Well, that'll be a first for me. I've never played with a vehicle outside of the Bat Belt, or the Bat bike rather.
Yeah,
Bat cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm hearing rumors that it could be peanut-based vehicles. Trust nothing I say on as regards to that. Somebody posted it on a thing, and I'm just kind of rolling with it right now. It is. Okay. So that said, when I was talking about scientist, there's a scientist with robot. It was the Ultron 6, who I happened to pull this weekend.
Nice. Ultron 6, it's awesome.
And he didn't fail to let me down at all.
Oh, he let you down?
Oh, he let me. Well,
You let you down, but he helped.
Like, there's a couple teams I looked at and said, "How am I going to be able to pull this off?" And when it's me re-rolling an impervious,
yeah,
that's not going to happen.
No.
Just not going to happen.
How probby were you?
How probby was I?
Yeah.
I wasn't at all, actually.
No, yeah.
So I guess we can enter into our weekend tournaments if you want to. We'll get started with that.
Segue.
Yeah. Well, we'll segue right into that.
Sure.
What did you get a chance to play anything this week, Mike? Before I get into
yeah, I played. I managed to play in our unofficial month 2, part 2 at Wizards Cash. We had a fairly low turnout, so we ended up doing a 3-pack wonder. It's what we call our 500-point 3-pack sealed. I pulled. What did I pull? I didn't pull anything that noteworthy. I did manage to get my hands on a Phalanx Ultron, thanks to John, who traded me immediately. He pulled it out of a pack, and I knew that he already had one, so I went, dibs! And he's a very, very generous trader. So I actually have yet to see what I'm going to be losing over it, but I don't mind at all. Very good guy to play with. And so our winner this week was Tom, I believe. I'm trying to remember who actually won. Yeah, I think it was Tom. With our second runner-up was me. So I immediately gave my prize to our third place, which was Emily. I once again played a prob team because I pulled pretty much all garbage. I managed to pull off an Avengers team, which is so easy in this set. With I think I had 3 probs and 4 theme probs once again, which for me is a good default because it's when you pull 2 rare packs in this set in wave 1 anyway, you can pretty much piece that together and that'll do really, really well by you, even if you have low stats. It don't matter none. You can still pull it off because if you roll low, you can try again. If you roll low again, you can try again, and it'll all work out in the end. Still really, really fun. We had the people who did come are pretty regular and was fun overall. Aside from that, I went away this weekend to my family cottage, and I brought a small smattering of figures with me because I wanted to show my younger brother how to play. At least in a very limited fashion. And he ended up bringing up the Heroclix Hobbit strategy game that I gave him last year that he hadn't even touched. And we took the figures out of that and put on their secondary dials, which are actual Heroclix dials, and just played on a blank map. So, normal scale, but just nothing on it to make it easier. Unfortunately, there's only 5 figures in that. And in order to make that work properly with points, I had to give him the super rare Iron Man on his team just to try things out. And
Iron Man and some short dudes.
Iron Man, Gandalf, and Bilbo was his team. And I played with the Goblin King. What's that white Uruk-hai guy's name again? I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Uruk-hai?
The main one, the guy with the sword arm at the end of the whole series or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Honestly, I had a little trouble watching The Hobbit myself. I've always seemed to catch it at a time where I'm particularly tired in a 3-hour movie.
That's okay. I think it's Azog.
Yeah.
And Smeagol. And Smeagol is, or Gollum in this case. Gollum is actually really cool for his points. It's like 50 points, and he's got shape change, super senses, and I can't remember what the third thing is. But the Goblin King is kind of cool too because as long as somebody who shares a keyword is next is adjacent to him, if somebody targets him with an attack, he can mastermind it, but it's only 1 damage. It becomes 1 damage. Mastermind it to someone else. But essentially, I wanted my brother to win, so I played a little bit poorly on purpose just to get him kind of into it. But we played with all of the powers, so I gave him the pack, and we went through the different powers as we were going, which made it into a really, really slow game. But it was really fun. I think it's so important to get new players in. As much as this show is about the metagame and is about, I guess, the higher end tournament. Let's break some characters and make this as painful as possible for other people. We have to remember that this game is not very friendly to new players because it is very, very complicated. And so, my message to anybody out there who is listening, watching, or whatever at any given point is to try and find somebody new to bring. In fact, if you come to our Wizards Cash tournaments on Wednesdays, we have a house rule, unless it's a sealed. So if it's a casual event, if you bring a new guy, you get 1 theme team probability control, even if you don't have theme. So a little bonus to the person who's bringing somebody. But yeah, no, it was really fun. He ended up winning. The star of the show was Iron Man, of course, because of his hypersonic and Indomitable. But I managed to kill Gandalf, which was my whole point, my whole goal in the game.
Kill the old man, eh?
Kill the well, he told me I could not pass, so.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass. It's fun to get out of the modern age sometimes too, and actually play some really they're not Golden Age DC or Marvel characters, but other set characters. Really, really fun. They are not nearly as powerful, generally speaking, though.
Yeah. So I myself, I got to play month 3 of Age of Ultron, which is the first month of Wave 2. Remember that probability control filled team that you built from Wave 1?
Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore.
There's no probs, eh?
Everything attacks
Nice.
in the set. I think there's maybe 2 characters that can be considered support characters, and that's Mockingbird and Machine Team. And even they're kind of supposed to be attacking for the most part. Myself, I didn't pull any of them. So
this is what we predicted, though. We said that the second half was all going to be very aggressive, right?
And it is hyper aggressive, to say the least. My super rare streak has ended, to say the least. We got a couple extra packs as well, as participation bonus. So me and Amber pulled no super rares. We got 1 ID card as far as high end stuff is concerned, and we are missing only 2 figures from the CUR. So there's that. A little bit of trading and moving around. So I am happy now to have a Luke Cage and Iron Fist for the most important part. Even though they're only commons, they had to be in my possession. Now my team, out of what I pulled from my initial 2 packs, I came up with a team of Ultron 6, the one with a lot of Pulse Wave and a lot of Running Shot, and I also teamed him up with, what was my other team? I've used the new Gold Ultron Drone, and I'll describe him shortly. And the new Captain America, because I couldn't say no to a Captain America.
You have to use that cap. He's so good.
And because I had some float, the way I could build, I looked at it and said, I could build, because one of the neat things was I pulled my Iron Fist ID card and an Iron Fist to use with him, which was exciting to me. The chance to do that was really cool. But I decided to use a slightly smaller than what I could use. Are you murdering a cat over there?
No, my cat. Okay. I'm just going to address this right now because this will happen. One of my cats is totally neurotic and insane, a very cuddly guy. He likes to go upstairs, grab a sock in his mouth, and then wander downstairs aimlessly going, hello, hello, hello. It sounds like hello. It's really, really annoying. And then he goes down to the bottom of the stairs, and he just says it. And now my other, much younger cat, whenever she wants attention now, has learned this. And so she actually sounds more like an English gentleman because she has the roll of her tongue. Hello! As she goes downstairs. It's really, really annoying.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back to it. Back to the Heroclix.
Now we can get back to it.
Yeah.
So I used, instead of building with the maximum amount of round table, I just decided to choose the best things I could get because, with four ID cards in one slot, 1, 2, 3, or 4, my usual terrible rolls, how can I possibly miss, right? Well, let me tell you. If you want me to roll a 5 or 6, make sure it's something I don't want to happen. So my first game, I played against Adam, and every time me and Adam play, we laugh at each other, laugh at the game, and have a ton of fun. And the fact that Amber isn't really interested in her judge prizes and is judging means I kind of play a little bit, take it easy in these tournaments, in this Age of Ultron stuff. But against Adam, he had Ms. Marvel. I take back anything I might have said that might have been even close to questionable about her. She's amazing. That whole hypersonic and super strength combination in sealed.
Oh,
God. So let me tell you what Captain America did in the first game. He got hit with an ultra heavy object. That didn't go so well. So then I was down to my Ultron drone and Ultron 6. I keep forgetting which number this Ultron is. Ultron's like, you don't know my number. Ultron 14. It's Ultron 6. It's Ultron 6. He's really good. Don't get me wrong, but I was stuck playing against his entire team, which was also Captain America. So it was Ms. Marvel, Captain America, and Mockingbird. So it was an Avengers team, which cost lost a dice roll. The new map looks a lot like Knock.
Does it actually? Oh no.
Well, not in so much in like the actual physical look, but it has that whole pit on the one side of it,
right?
Where you can die or take damage from by
occupying it. You get knocked into it and you're screwed. Yeah.
But I was kind of stuck in the middle in this game anyway. The Ultron did protect himself once he got to that special power, that special pulse wave, where if he pulse waves and hits, he can move adjacent to a hit character and get +2 defense.
Yeah.
So he was sitting there at a 19 defense. I was sitting there with my Ultron drone collecting these tokens that he collects, where he replaces his damage with the number of tokens that you have on him.
Yeah.
And it's a maximum of 5.
Yeah.
We were referring to it as a Kamehameha blast all weekend.
Good old turtle blast wave.
Yeah. I managed to hit with it twice all weekend, and it was not in the first game. So in spite of all the work that I did to try to do it, he did kill my Ultron drone, and he slowly worked away at my Ultron 6, in spite of the fact that I was pulse waving his entire team because I was stuck doing that. I had lost a running shot, ignore character movement thing, unfortunately. So I was stuck not taking the risk on the breakaway.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't end up winning that, and I only killed the Captain America. No, I didn't kill the Captain America. I got 10 points out of that game. He used an ID card. So that game didn't go so well. My second game was against a younger guy, Evan, who shows up to our venue on a regular basis as well. He was playing Luke Cage and Iron Fist, which was already painful to have to play against because they're two of my favorite characters, and the new Power Man. Mental note, make sure he dies first.
Power Man?
Because I would decided Iron Fist was a big threat and an easy to kill threat, so I killed him first. But Power Man has this ability where when something dies, he gets a spirit token. And for each spirit token he has, he gets +1 to all his combat values except for damage.
Right.
So when I killed Iron Fist, that Power Man came in with exploit weakness, charge, +1 to everything except for damage, and really did a number on my Captain America. No, he killed my Ultron 6 first because he went in on the Ultron 6. Luke Cage didn't do any damage to it, but at this point, I actually managed to get my Ultron drone to the 5th token and blasted away the Power Man because I needed him gone.
Right.
He was doing too much damage. Then it came down to Captain America and the Iron Man drone versus Luke Cage, but that early dial Invincible is so hard to get through it. I just couldn't get through it. So it was down to the Ultron drone at one point. And I break away a running shot into the area that, like the open air area. And then what it is at the end of the turn, you take the character off, put him in the starting area, they take 1 unavoidable damage. I was like, well, Luke Cage doesn't fly, doesn't leap and climb. So if I go in there, I should be pretty safe, right? No, he runs right at me anyway and takes a shot. He not only does he hit, he critically hits. Basically liquefies my Ultron drone. And I have this image of Luke Cage jumping off of a building at an Ultron drone screaming "Sweet Christmas" as he obliterates it with his fist. So I'm now 0-2, and in fun mode, I go into my third round, and I play against Paul, who's got a Thor. And it was Thor and Ant-Man. So he was the first 3 or 4 turns. He was playing the Thor at 200 points, which means he starts with phasing. So I had that kind of going for me. I had the first strike advantage. He put his Thor in a position where I could running shot Pulse Wave with my Ultron 6, so I took that chance. As well as, you know, when Captain America has Outwit. So what I did was I led in with a hypersonic style attack with Captain America. When I was done the attack, I think I had done 1 damage, and then I outwitted the defense power. I came in with the Ultron drone, blasted him away with that, and then came in with a Pulse Wave. It was just a miasma of just slamming on this Thor as much as I could.
Right.
Thor got down really low. I attempted to fight back, but this one was my game. This was my game, and everything kind of went right for me as far as that was concerned. But the round table, I think I successfully got a power that was useful once, and I got Iron Fist when I wasn't in close combat 3 times, and rolled 5s or 6s for the rest of it because I only had 4 ID cards on my thing. I had a ton of fun. Don't get me wrong. I did enjoy this set, but it's not for me when it comes. Like, it's not for my luck style, if you will, or my ability to modify the game in my favor. Although even month 1 and month 2 didn't go so well for me. So I think I went 1 and 2 in all 3 months so far. I don't think I have a chance at the Quinjet. So I'm going to have to be very nice to Amber for the next couple months so I can get my Quinjet.
She'll probably hold it over your head for a little while anyway.
Oh, she'll make me work for it big time. Don't get me wrong.
Don't need to know, man. Just saying.
I'm talking about like cleaning the house. What are you talking about, you pervert?
I
don't think we properly shared the link to the show now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm trying to find a link so that I can see if there's more comments. If you guys are watching, check the comments below. We are taking questions later on in the show. But first, we have to talk about a new character for our team. And this week is the monthly OP kit Robin from the Dick Grayson month. The month of Dick Grayson.
Yep.
That's how I very quickly inserted Dick Grayson into that. As opposed to the month of Dick Grayson.
The bag of dicks? Yeah. I'll say it. You won't. I think we're okay there. We're not swearing anymore.
All right, Mike, let's talk about your team, sir.
All right. So, I mean, as you guys know, we need to include the chosen monthly OP kit character in our teams, trying to make them as meta as we can. I decided with Robin that I would go for his I'd build surrounding the detective keyword, so it's a generic theme team. And I went with Robin, Elongated Man, and Martian Manhunter. So it's from the Flash, Elongated Man, and Trinity War, Martian Manhunter at 100 points. I've shied away from using that Martian Manhunter at that level, but I think in this format it would work really, really well. I've also included a full power plant, so that's the Invincible Iron Man power plant and all of the rings, and 2 Justice League Silver Age ATAs, one on Martian Manhunter and one on Elongated Man, and a Triathlon ID card. Basically, the way generally this team will look underpowered to your opponents, because I mean they all have 10 attack, 17 defense, and not a whole lot of womp. You know, look, it doesn't look like you're really going to be able to take them out very easily. But the reality of it is, you have major body block with 2 stealthers. You also have the increased range plasticity with Elongated Man. I think he's a really, really underrated character as far as an 81-point character goes. He has the barrier combat reflexes and willpower on top of, on his second through 4th clicks. On his first click, he starts with stealth. He also has 17 defense with super senses, and he has a special damage power. It's he can use Outwit as if he had a range value of 8, and improved targeting, ignores elevated terrain, ignores hindering terrain, ignores characters. I'm a huge fan of ignoring elevated terrain in general, so that's win-win for me. He has 4 range, not a whole lot, but the fact that he has that 8 range Outwit that he can do around Ryut, if you will, is pretty awesome. Robin himself, I don't think he's all that good a character, but if you play him with a Teen Titans team, he has additional abilities. I didn't do that in this case, so I'll only speak really about this. He has sidestep with precision strike, combat reflexes, and he also has empower and leadership. And he uses leadership, characters of Teen Titans, blah, 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 considered to have lower point value. Leadership doesn't really come into this so much because he is the lowest point character. But in this case, I've also built it surrounding using a lower cost ID card, which is the Triathlon ID card. Triathlon ID card is so good. It's ridiculous. You could use it to bring in either Triathlon or 3D Man in this particular case. One is a 60-point character. The other is a 90-point character. The 60-point character has Charge Flurry. Amazing. I'm trying to pull up the ID card as we speak as well to be able to tell you exactly what the inspiration is. Modify speed value by +1, modify attack value by +1 when making close combat attack, modify defense value by +1 against close combat attacks. So that's 17 defense, becomes an 18 when he's on on the board itself. Now, if you look at the Martian Manhunter piece of this, there's that insane defense. He only has 17 defense, but he has shape change, super senses, and probability control. How are you going to hit him? It's really, really, really hard to hit him. On top of that, he has PD, and then he has improved movement, ignores characters, so you can position him pretty easily. He's going to stick around the other guys most likely, so they are a bit of a cluster, just to be able to utilize them fully. Generally speaking, you're going to see Martian Manhunter go forward with a running shot, pop off a shot using with the ATA, you get the +1 versus a single target, +1 attack, so he has an 11 attack right there. Then you can add on the ring that gives you a +2 to your attack as well, and then you can burn the ring, so he's 13 attack. 13 attack for 3 damage, pretty good. And he has precision strike, so even if they roll that impervious roll, you're still going to get 1 damage through. I think that's pretty solid overall. The Robin himself, I mean, you can do very similar things with him. The only thing he won't have is the ATA in this particular case, so you can get up to 12 attack on him. The power plant, as we've talked about in previous episodes, is amazing for ranged characters. It is a damage powerhouse, super cheap for what it does, and really, really easy to learn to use. As I only really learned to use it like last week. It's pretty straightforward. The elongated man, once again, though, I think he's so underused. 81 points, improved movement, ignores elevated terrain, ignores hindering terrain, use plasticity, opposing characters within 2 squares in line of fire, treat elongated man as adjacent for movement purposes. So you're not even getting close to him. Somebody's hypersonicking in for a super strength attack, they can't come close. They couldn't anyway if it was 1 square away with plasticity. But on top of that, you're adding on a little bit further distance. They can't do any close combat attacks in their second turn. If they've ignored that when they weren't RTFCing, then that's their problem at that point, in my humble opinion. Yep. Anyway, that's my rant. Go ahead.
One of the things I've always wanted to make use is that elongated man and his extra range plasticity, that extra reach to kind of hold on to guys and go, no, you stay over there. The little protective bubble he forms. Actually, one of the first times I played a game against Tom, he was using that elongated man with a Swarm team while I was using the New Trinity of Sin from, 2 of the characters from New Trinity of Sin from the Flash set. And I had to stay outside of 3 with the question's range to poke at elongated man before I could start charging in and hitting his rather large team.
Right. You need a stealth buster to make it work.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just kind of pulling up my team right now because I just took a screenshot of yours. And there it is, Metal Lab teams, Robin, Jason's team. All right. So I went with open it with photo gallery for now. Okay, good enough. All right. I decided that today I was going to be a bit of a jerk and a bit of a pimp and a bit of a baller, if you will.
Oh my God. All right. What do you got?
My team costs money, son.
Oh, he's money team. Oh.
All right.
All right. What? I'm making gang signs that aren't gang signs. They're just hand movements.
So, of course, the Robin is a prize you got to earn in one of these monthly OP kit events, or you got to trade your butt off for it. And I went with his Gotham City keyword. Now, when you look at the Gotham City keyword, there's a lot of high-end pieces with that keyword, one of which is the Ultra Chase White Rabbit. I feel like I'm trolling our fans. Yes, you got to be either lucky or you got to trade your butt off to get my team this week. So White Rabbit is on my team, along with Jonah Hex, con exclusive from last year. And now I want to point out before I explain why I chose my resource. You have Robin, White Rabbit, and Jonah Hex. You have 3 figures on the team. Then Jonah Hex can bring out Amadeus Arkham to add an extra character to the team. And White Rabbit comes with an extra character to add to the team. That's a lot of characters on your team. What works well with a lot of characters on a team? The red power battery. Now,
penetrating poison.
Yep, penetrating poison is a scary, scary thing. Now, granted, 2 of these characters are very, very easy to kill and are very easily countered by, opposing poison. So you're not really counting on it. But one of the things I liked about the red battery on this team was White Rabbit being able to get in there. It's very easy for her to find herself very close to the other team with a little bit of terrain choice, to say the least. If your opponent is in a position where their force is near some blocking or near some kind of terrain that you can't see White Rabbit through, then they're stuck there with White Rabbit on the other side of it, who will now sidestep over to them the next turn, or when you get a chance to, in order to affect some poison. Now, constructs I chose included the stop sign to make sure that they stick around for a little while. White Rabbit is already enough of a pain in the butt to try to get a shot off with her shape change and to hit with her super senses. So she's got the 2 rollouts on top of that. So adding a stop sign to just kind of make you stick around for a little bit is just kind of that hold you there and poison you and punish you for being there tactic. I put down a sniper rifle. Jonah Hex can always use a little bit of extra range. She's good at a distance. And if you can reset distance, almost double it in this case, you're looking at an incredibly scary Jonah Hex. I've always kind of been partial to the character, and I've always wanted to make him work. And this is kind of that first step towards putting it there. As well, this is a team that you can afford to take a little bit of damage with, because Amadeus Arkham will show up eventually and do some support, and kind of like what Jane Foster does for the Thor in the new Wave 1 stuff. And of course, there's Robin. Robin has Empower and Enhancement, and Leadership. Now, that means he's a good partner for White Rabbit to work with. So Robin might be a good idea to be the first one to get based, and then have White Rabbit show up behind him while he's blocking the line of fire to your opposing characters, then have her sidestep in and use Robin to get leadership off of her. He's got precision strike. He's got sidestep. He's got the ability to move. You can give him a move action, ends his movement in a lower elevation from where he began. After action resolve, he may make a close combat attack as a free action, and he already ignores elevated. So hopping off of a turret, hopping down from elevation 6 on Ryu is a good choice. Hopping down from the buildings in the Keystone City map is also a very good tactic with this character. This is just some of the thoughts I kind of came up with when I was building this team actually at the last second, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna build an expensive team and then explain my way out of it. So there, I did it. I explained my way out of it.
It's not bad. Yeah, there you go.
It's a team that can be very frustrating to your opponent while they're able to actually still play, because that's one thing I can actually get some enjoyment out of, is watching my opponent be frustrated even though I'm letting him do things in the game. Yeah, so that was my team for this week. Not particularly fan or wallet friendly or fan friendly, but I gotta say this Robin. Yeah, I get it, but this Robin is really difficult to just kind of build around, and he's more of one that can be kind of thrown into a team as opposed to built around.
Not the focus point. No, not the focal point.
Yeah, he's definitely not the focus point of the team, and that was one of the things I had to kind of step away from. Is like Robin, he's a requirement for the exercise.
Well, he's a sidekick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And use him with Batman. Who am I kidding? It makes sense. The Batman from Trinity War is his best
For
friend.
sure, yeah. Batman from Trinity War would be perfect.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I think I said enough about that. What about you?
Yeah, good to go.
All right. So I think we can move on to fan questions now. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to start on Facebook. If you want to get your questions in now, comments down below. See, I pointed to the left because that's where it's hanging.
Good. It's clearer that way.
Comments below. And let us know what you want to know or hear us talk about. In the meantime, Mr. Chris Stockhouse, regular question man, he always has something for us to talk about. Do you guys think that the Thor ID card summoning the Jane Foster bystander is going to be on every competitive team for the rest of Age of Ultron's modern age? It's easily going to be my favorite use of a single ID card. What is the lab's favorite use for this question? Do you think Thor ID card being used to bring in Jane Foster is going to be on a lot of teams that include Roundtable or ID cards in general? What do you think?
She would disappear. No?
Nope.
After that one turn? No, she stays, eh? So she's a freebie, basically, at that point. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too closely at it, obviously. Yeah, okay. Free action, Jane Foster bystander token is described in this card. Okay. Yeah, not bad at all. Let me just look at her, actually. Jane Foster.
9 attack, support with willpower?
She has willpower, yeah. And she has exploit weakness.
She's a one-click version of the original Jane Foster LE paramedic.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to have a really hard time hitting with that support. But overall, yeah, for free, pretty much, amazing.
Yeah. And, of course, that the fact that Thor takes a free action and then can actually attack with his impressive stats and damage and range
For sure.
is a good outlook. Now, as far as the 300-point game is concerned, though, it's a matter of what Thor is coming out. At 100 points, I don't think he's as impressive. Is it 100 points is his lower dial?
Yeah, this is lower dial.
And I got to double check the stats on that while I'm talking out of my butt. Is it going to be 10 attack precision strike with combat expert is a good combination of things to have. Come in, hit somebody really hard if you're in close combat, and bring out Jane Foster. Now, the other thing, though, is
well, you can pair them with somebody who has energy explosion too, and they get an additional target. And if they don't have a lot of range or any range, then they would have range if they have energy explosion. But I was just thinking, pair them with an energy explosion character, and then they have 3 bolts as well for that turn.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. The extra bolts from his inspiration is good. I think, does he give us? Was it him who gave an auto 6 range or something like that?
Yes, 6 range. Yeah.
So he gave 6 range to go with that extra bolt too. So, he can come in. He can shoot. Yeah, I can see it being used. That's for sure. I'm more concerned about his place on the round table, personally. Though you're probably going to see him more when ID card form, given the current meta is actually more around get some resource, add the ID cards to fill in some blanks.
Yeah, because they're free on top of whatever else you're doing, because they don't count towards your resource total or relic. Yeah, that's how I would use it for sure, because I still think we do have a very battery biased meta right now. So throwing him on there, I think, would be that's actually a really good possibility there. Throw him. Hell, I could throw him on my Kyle Rayner team and pop him down next to him. Pop off the shot with energy explosion, extra bolt. Have him charge in with 11 attack, 4 damage, precision strike. That'd be amazing. That'd be fantastic. And you're basing them, so it's hard for them to get away. And he's got 17 defense with impervious, just staving them off as well for that one turn. No, he's good. Very good thing to bring to our attention here, Chris. Thank you.
It's a thing that's going to happen, that's for sure.
It's going to be there.
It's gonna be. And Jane Foster sticking around to heal after the fact is going to be the thing that
yeah, I just wish that. Well, I don't wish anything. I think a free character is awesome.
All right. So next we go on to Cody Morris, who asks, "Hey guys, love the show. My question is, would you play the Jewel at 25 points in constructed? You get 2 clicks about wit, and she would have stealth and willpower." Did I not mention last week that I love?
Yeah, last week you put her on your team last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a very useful character at 25 points. I personally used the phrase "new old Black Panther." The original rookie Black Panther at 27 points, Avengers team ability, stealth and outwit. It's basically the same combination of powers that the 25-point Jewel has, with less clicks because that's what you get in the modern game. But she also has stealth to go with it, and the Avengers team ability, which means she's kind of incidental as far as actions of your team, so you don't mind using her for a turn to position. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm going to use the crap out of her at 25 points, especially in this upcoming Avengers is the easiest keyword to get around.
No, clear 25. She's great.
Yeah, you agree?
I agree.
All right. Next up, Jackson Agar asks, this is more for Jason. All right. I'll let Mike answer too. If you enjoyed the Beast Boy, do you think you'll try to fiddle around with the Hank Pym? You know what? It wasn't so much the Beast Boy. It was Alyosha Craven. I was in mad love with Alyosha Craven, and the fact that Beast Boy was an animal made me fall in love with Beast Boy because of tangential love. His animal keyword and the Tyrannosaurus mode back when I was still first playing or getting into competitive meta again. The idea of transforming, having a T-Rex in your face because of Alyosha giving him a move action, which allowed to transform after he carried with a pterodactyl form, was an amazing idea that actually George Massey piloted fairly well to a top 8. I might have even been top 2 at the U.S. Nationals one year. So it was. I liked Beast Boy because I liked Alyosha. Alyosha made me like animals.
I played against the Beast Boy team, in Ottawa actually, a few weeks ago, on a casual Saturday, and it was really fun to play against. I managed to beat it, but yeah, it was really neat. Cool things. I like the morphing of the Ant-Man. I mean, I'm not sure what else to say about it.
Yeah. Oh, and he of course apologizes that he missed last week's show. It's okay. We can't hit every episode.
We forgive you. See here, right here. We forgive you.
That said, we move on to the next question from Don Profit. I know they're not modern age, but what do you think of the Slifer and Exodia from the Yu-Gi-Oh! OP kit? Mike, what do you think of Slifer and Exodia?
Well, Exodia is amazing. I haven't really looked too in depth at Slifer. I've got them pulled up actually right here, right now. I'm just disappointed by the size of the actual Colossal, because it's not very colossal at all. I feel like they cheaped out because it is, an OP prize, when it should have been massive, just like a Serpent or other OP prizes like a Necron. I think that would have been really cool for Yu-Gi-Oh players. Even though it's a small set and it isn't modern, it won't be playable, and probably they want to spend less time R&Ding it. But yeah, I mean, 11 movement, running shot, 12 attack, energy explosion, 19 defense, invincible, 3 of the best powers to combine right off the top with really crazy stats. That's at 425, of course. So not very playable, but at 200 points, stats can be better. But I mean, I'm just looking at this for the very first time. Powers can't be countered. Yeah, that's.
Again, I shared this picture.
Yeah,
we have to. I have to share this. One of these is colossal. One of these is not even a giant. I'm done. All yours again, Mike.
You should be done. Yeah, that's true. Oh boy, yeah. No, I mean they. I feel like they cheaped out with the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff in general. But who cares, really? Let's be real.
Now, having played in the Yu-Gi-Oh events myself, my opinion of the Exodia, for one, holy hell.
Ridiculous.
In the Yu-Gi-Oh environment, he's actually good against modern age and other comic-based characters that have seen competitive play. I watched him wreck house against a team that included a the Web of Spider-Man Nightcrawler, the Ben Crawler, if you will. He is a force to be reckoned with, for sure.
For real.
But of course, part of the guy who I watched use this figure and watched absolutely wreck house. Also, Felix Faust countermeted with a copycat. So he definitely wasn't subjected to Felix Faust paints. This was like a 600-point tournament. That's kind of why. So as far as like when you consider the competitive game or the meta game, he falls into the casual meta or the golden age meta, and he is a force to be reckoned with for sure at his highest peak point values. I haven't had a chance to really try any lower point values on him or see him piloted in other lower point values. I did witness the Slifer get used, and he was all right. He didn't win that day. What I can't remember what beat the Slifer, but he's the problem is that because both of these are colossals, they're big targets. But because they're only single base colossals, they can at max have 11 clicks unless they do something silly like they did with Pacific Rim with it was a 600-point one. Can't remember his name now. It was the big pulling it up right now. Anyway, one of the Pacific Rim ones had like this thing where just when you're about to kill him, he goes back to click one. And he was a 600-point character. It was Slatter. That's what I'm thinking of, Slatter. Anyway, unless they do something like that, you're not going to get the full effect of what usually comes out of Colossals or what should be a 600, 500, 400-point character. They're trying to cram a lot into a little space. So what you end up getting is a lot of powers. But do those powers work all the time? Not necessarily. I find the Colossals are best represented when they have thick dials. And unfortunately, because they didn't get multi-dialed figures or multi-space figures, they couldn't really do, for the Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there, they couldn't really do you guys some justice. And I had a chance to play when we were playing with within this Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, the Yu-Gi-Oh event. A lot of the guys that were playing were Yu-Gi-Oh fans first, so I got to hear tales and stories of how characters should look or what they'd expect out of characters. Like, for instance, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh version of Odin, if you will, who is supposed to be incredibly tall, and there's no way you could possibly represent that with a single base figure. And if you attempt to do that, you're a bit of a jerk. But also you got to understand is this game occurs inside of a card game, inside of a TV show of a card game there's a whole bunch of like things that just don't make it make sense as far as itself in its own world.
Yep.
So I mean, considering the cards are played and they're holograms of the cards, shrinking it makes sense because it's being played at a lower resolution when you're playing Heroclix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I argued and then counter-argued my own argument of the argument with the counter-argument. I believe that's actually it for questions today. I'm just going to give one last refresh on the YouTube page and then one last refresh on the Facebook. And then we'll be wrapping it up. Mike, while I'm doing that, anything you want to add to the show today? Or
We got our month 3 on Wednesday. So I'm not sure if it's completely full. I know the last time I checked, we had one spot still available. We listed with 12 slots available because we have 2 volunteers that are listed on it. But it will be a 10 limit, and that'll be our official month 3 for Age of Ultron. Come out and get your packs and have some fun. It should be some actual real good competition. Real good now, don't you hear? The other thing that I was going to mention, we also have Casual Fridays there. So that gets listed later in the week usually. And you can come down at 6:30 to play with our judge, Glenn, on Fridays at Wizard's Catch. That's right next to the Battle Shoe Museum underneath Willow Books. Aside from that, we should be announcing some more major competition in the next couple of weeks coming up here in around Toronto. So stay tuned.
All right. With that said, once again remind you guys that we are sponsored by HC Realms. So check out the shop section. Use the coupon code MARRIED on your way to checkout. Getting some of those awesome maps, side bags, dice cups, hats. Mike's even wearing one of their shirts right now. Mike, show it off for them. Stand up, be pretty. There we go. Now turn. This beautiful Indomitable shirt is available on there. Mike, in fact, used our coupon code MARRIED to get himself 10% off of his purchase. And you also help support the channel that way. As well, if you want to support us in another way, we do have a Patreon, marriedwithclicks.com or patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. If you want to support us through there, we do have some awesome incentives for you guys to give in. We actually have a guy who's going to be building a team for Amber very shortly.
That's awesome.
About that. $25 gets you to be mine or Amber's team builders. $50 gets you on this show for a week. So that means you get to join me in telling Mike he's wrong about rules sometimes.
I hear it all the time.
He's good most of the time. But all of our patrons, of course, do get the update from our patron, our thanks. And I believe there was some other incentives that went with that. And, of course, being completely unprofessional, I don't have it loaded up.
Well, you also get one of these, too.
Oh! Mike, why are you doing that to the fans?
Oh, that's a lot of arm punching.
We discussed this. Anyway, yeah, so all of our fans get access to our monthly update as well as a monthly hangout that we're going to be hosting myself and Amber. We get to answer questions. $5 or more gets you early access to the YouTube video before anybody else. As well, if you jump in the it's non-live, so you're not getting this video early. Everybody gets this one at the same time. $10 or more gets you a downloadable version of our videos and access to our weekly tournament report, which myself and Amber are going to be filming soon. And, of course, we have higher, more limited gifts, incentives that I've already mentioned. And, of course, if you decide to go crazy and really want to sponsor us or support us, $1,000 gets you a show. A show on Married with Clicks. That's up to you. Producer credit, if you will. That said, Mike, thanks for joining us on the – oh, look, Kitty.
This is my pod. Mike? If I was a figure, this would be my pod that I spawned. And Jason uses because he is a swarm whore.
It has a side step and blades claws.
Okay, all
right, guys. I just want to say thank you for joining us. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys next week.
Practice.
Oh, practice
makes your
team better. Yeah. Never forget that, guys. Practice makes your team better. Have a good week, guys.
All right.